You guys have been sorting out all the details and necessities you need to sort out in getting your, I believe it's a educational / bakery / little restaurant place that you guys are sorting out. You went for a family, like, after Friday dining area, and you chose it to be family friendly while also serving as a semi little orphanage. So it looks family friendly with the little children involved. That's basically what I seem to have gotten across with you guys as you've been formulating bits and pieces here and there about, the grand plan. Punk, from what I can see of your brewery, you've already begun to assign alcohol, breweries, tools, traps, and other shiny things, yeah, it's a shiny, with an exclamation mark, not an L. And meanwhile, yeah, you guys have started to formulate where to put desks, and you've assumed which rooms belong to who. This place becoming yours, and you're making good use of it. You've started to accumulate all your bits and pieces. I'm going to begin with you, Ponk. I'm going to begin with you heading over to the winery guild, and you basically know of their place pretty well. You have often been a kind of an outcast to them, not for the sake that you were a kobold. No. This is perfectly within reason, within the City of Splendor's Waterdeep herself. But you've been an outcast simply because these guys are very snobbish. They don't deal so much in the ales. They are the wine-tasting, cheese-sniffing kind of upper-crust males and females that definitely hold very high estates and privileged positions over many others. And with that in mind, while they gave membership because it's anybody who can peddle their wares and all the other stuff, they still look down on you. That being said, when you approach them, likely within the Sea Ward, no doubt, over towards those shining, glittering gold leaves and royal blue cobblestones and whatnot, you find their estate quite naturally looking out to the ocean itself. The waves are gently lapping by in what is a very bright but now progressively chill sort of mid-10-day morning, as it would be called. The waves are slapping and crashing against what looks like this ornate building that has wine grapes and vines growing around many wooden sort of planters that have been set up around the front entrance to this guild house, essentially. But of course, as you approach, you can see that there are many refined merchants, many who have slick facial hair, combed back hair, wonderfully smelling and appearing beautiful people, all of which are taking their time to sip wines of some kind, of course doing the wine thing of spitting it out afterwards and commenting on its aging and flavouring and all of the sort of other tones that they've just tasted and to discuss. And your little kobold self wanders up to the front door. How do you proceed from there?
I do the things that a lot of people know that I'm doing. I jump kick the door open and slide in a Broadway style right to the receptionist.
You may notice that I had a pause there. But that's
No,
fine.
that was bad. Okay, I will go in normally then.
No, it's
That's
declared.
right, it's a pole door. You can't kick it open.
No,
Oh,
I didn't say anything like that. Dobry, you come to the front door, you walk quite confidently between all of these excessive nobles and whatnot, and you just kick down the door.
and it's not just like kick and walk in. It's like it just pretty much like jump kick and then
Yeah.
slide down Broadway style to the receptionist and like I have a proposition.
Because it's Broadway style, you can either do an acrobatics check or a performance check because it's Broadway style.
All right, I believe in my acrobatic.
All right. All right, Dobry. You essentially nail the kicking down of the door, and then after doing so, your kick just basically keeps you going. You have a lot of strength or a lot of skill than a little fellow your size should have, perhaps, with certain monk training involved. And after you kick down the door, of course, widens out, heavy oaky doors, kind of fumbling back and hitting the back of those doors with large slams that hit this guild house. And for the briefest moment, you can see a very gently orange lit inner house that has lots of brown oak wood that has these lines of wine barrels that have been set aside, letting them grow old and to mature. And for all of 5 seconds, you appreciate this interior before you basically jump right into the receptionist's face. All you can tell is that they are a woman, since all you hear is a "Ah!" And then suddenly they just you and her just tumble behind the reception desk. I may have blown out your ears, I'm sorry, but at the same time, Ponk has just blown all these people's minds. And the other nobles and whatnot that were nearby give a sort of... They put their hands to their face, their gloved hands to their mouths as they look in horror and with shock and surprise, as some of them are thinking that they're being assaulted upon. So...
And you can...
Yeah, go on,
Yeah,
Ponk.
and I'm gonna grab a receptionist and I'm gonna say like, I have a proposition, and then I'm going to like pull her up and maybe check if she's okay. And right now I'm probably like behind the counter, so they probably don't see me. But suddenly you see like a very red blur just hitting the receptionist.
So Ponk, I'd like you to make me a history check with advantage, please, if you remember this lady's name, because you have had prior dealings with these guys before, and you may not know many people, but you might know the receptionist. This was made at advantage. So you know that her name was Defendriel. She's a rather gentle and warm wood elf who serves in this guild, and she treated you kindly last time you were here. She talked to you sweetly. She was courteous in dealing with you, and you just kicked down the door and assaulted her as you entered in here. She has this blonde bun that's tied up to the back of her head, and she's wearing some half-cut glasses to the front of her face, which of course now have been broken in the scrambling, and she basically goes, "Oh, good heavens, who did that?" And she like gives a feel for you, and she just goes, "Oh, Ponk, oh dear, oh sweetheart, could you please get off me? I need to get up."
I'm sorry. I was so excited. I have discovered something. I have a proposition that I would like to do.
Ponk, that's really sweet of you, dear, but give me a second. She
Okay.
adjusts herself, and she stands up behind the reception as she just goes, "It's all right. It's quite all right. Please, there's no need for the city watch. Just a hyperactive little friend of mine. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Please enjoy your tasting. There'll be a free round on me, I promise. Oh, I hope they don't dog me too much. Anyway, Ponk, you mustn't jump in like that. It doesn't look very good." And she like picks you up and plops you up on the other side of the counter that you're too small for.
Oh, I'm probably like I'm sorry. I was very excited. I have something that happens yesterday, and is big actually. Do you know of this abandoned place called the Troll Skull Manor?
No, I haven't heard of it, sweetie, but there's many homes I've not heard of in Waterdeep. But I recognize the name Troll Skull Alley, so I know where that is, yeah.
Yeah. Me and my other friends, we joint inherit this abandoned manors, and it turned out there are two things. very strange thing. The first thing is the place was haunted, but haunted no more. We hiring exorcists to kick the ghost butt out of the manor for good. And second thing is this place, they have a tap room, a very very large tap room, and you know what's under that tap room?
No, sweetheart, I don't.
Vanilla.
Oh.
And I was thinking, maybe this is my time to shine. Maybe I could no longer. I can now withdraw my brewing supply, go down there, decorate the rooms, and continue starting to brewing my signatures.
I'm sorry, what, sweetheart? You brewing your signatures?
You don't remember? I did show it to you. You know the purples looking the it has the purple colors, but it's very clear. It's called Let me type the name down on
Yeah.
Roll20.
Nice, very nice, Punk. Yes, absolutely.
There's going to be a homage, an Easter egg, if you guys know what it is.
Ah, lovely. Hedy Kyola. Okay, I see what you've done here. She basically giggles and goes, oh yeah, I remembered that. That was very sweet of you. But I don't want to try any again until you've actually fermented it for the proper date. Last time I was sick for about 2 days.
Yeah, back then I'm pretty much messed up, with all the cobalt light saving times and all that. It can be getting a little bit strange, but I'm a better cobalt now, maybe? Yes? Yeah. I'm a better cobalt now. Yep.
Yip. Are you taking inspiration from Ducky from The Land Before Time?
No, actually, he is Appa.
Oh, yay! Excellent. Derefrindle leans over. She just goes, well, I'm very happy to hear that you're making strides, Ponk. Very glad to hear that. Definitely. So, what would you like me to do? Would you like me to set you up with how many crates and of what, or
Well, first thing first, I want to withdraw the last fermented piece that I leave in this guild, and then I'm gonna start withdrawing a few brewing supply to decorate the place. Is it possible that you send someone to check? Because I assume we should have a space for brewing supplies and the rest of space for the main storage for different kind of alcohol.
Well, you know how it is, sweetheart. You're registered with us, and of course that makes you registered to sell our product in your own. We and she opens up a book before her as she goes down names, flicks through the pages, going back and forth as she just goes, this is it's been a while since you came by last, Ponk. A few things did have to get moved around. You weren't a regular. You weren't regular to the meetings. Well, you didn't have an address to send you a porter to mention. And she does awkwardly keeps going through as she just goes, I'm very sorry, Ponk dear. I know you left it with us, but everything's been moved around so many times. I'm not sure where it is. I know it's probably in here, but it's going to be lost somewhere in the far back. You're going to have to go look for it. I'm sorry.
That is okay. I should be able to. I assume that how many times you have moved the place? Maybe I could get at least to the understanding of a possibility of where it could be now.
I like that, Ponk. She basically goes, we had all of the season berries that came into fashion that time already moved around. I'm sorry, Ponk. I've been working a long day. Poor me. I need to get some sleep. Anyway,
It's okay.
yeah, we mostly just changed everything around during summer when the wineries did bring in the harvests and whatnot. So we've had to make some room there. So I guess everything's been changed around once, really, Ponk, dear.
All right, that shouldn't be too hard. I'm gonna go in there and check it. Let's hope. And if is anything that you helped with your bruise, assuming that I hit you too hard, I'm sorry again. I'm going to let's go check maybe in the room A B let's go. And you can see Ponk just wagging his tails as he just rushed into the place.
Yes. Now, Honk.
Oh, and before we go there, I'm going to deposit my 5 gold monthly. Yeah.
Oh, it's already done. We did that at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. So you already registered, you're signed up, and you get a few sneers from other snob-like individuals that look down on you as you are tiny little punk making your way through. Now this is the Vintners, Distillers, and Brewers Guild, and you found that while your passion is within wine, you found that the ale makers are not so judgmental as the winers themselves, or the vintners rather, the vintners. So when you do get there, you're still in the vintners sort of area, and you're getting to what is all of Waterdeep's brands. Every single reseller of wines and whatnot, makers, have all made a concoction, a flavor, and have at least put it in where you're heading now, which half is to age it, and half to figure out, or just to like preserve it, just in case they want to go back to an old favorite, and they need to taste it to recreate it. You know, so this serves not only as like a storehouse, but as a catalog of all former kind of wines that have come before in the past. So,
Ooh.
oh yeah,
Out of collectors, does it have something as expensive as Romani Conti in this world?
Romani Compi.
It's an actual wine. It's very expensive. But
Ooh.
I'm just wonder if there is such expensive wine here that you should be aware of and not try to break it by accident.
Well, that would be difficult to do. These are in wooden crated barrels that are all sitting upon like alleyways that go across an undercroft to this manor that go on for as far as you can see, the size of an exhibition hall, that have utilized all the space possible to fit all of these many wines in. With that in mind, I would like you to give me an investigation check, please.
Pong just squint his eyes and I can make this work.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's have that. Okay, so, Ponk, you spend the day essentially lost between all those kegs. You are a bit afraid. You've not seen anybody for several hours. All you have seen are kegs with various different names. You've seen one that says Shah's Tears, one that says Fairy's Liqueur, another one that says Evelyn's Finest, and other such names as you keep going on and on through all these various brands and home brews. But I'll leave you there for now. So, Megara, you had gotten friendly with 2 of the locals, who you worked the smith close to your home, being the fire genocide and water genocide, Embrick and Avi, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
You had they had approached you, and you figured that your oven might need a touch-up job at the forge, to which these guys would be local and able to deal with it. Embrick was a boisterous hothead, and Avi seemed much more open and receptive to you. With that in mind, how do you wish to approach all that situation?
Well, as Megara had said before, she said that it wasn't a decision that she was going to make on her own.
Right,
Any kind of cost was going to be talked with to Adrian.
Alright, excellent.
Hmm?
Just mentioning you by name because a cost for reforging your oven would be discussed with by you. that being said, Megara,
Right.
you did spend the day cleaning up Charles Skull Manor, to which you have made a notable dent in doing so. You have cleaned the place up quite a degree. You sit back and you take a breather, and what's your next order of business, or do you just wait for everybody else to come home?
Well, she would have probably made things. Actually, I suppose that's something that can't be done. I was about to say she probably would have made things go by a little bit quicker by having a unseen servant, but at the same time, the way unseen servant works is, you have to spend action to make it do stuff. So
It's cool, you just like take a break and get the servant to do the work while you rest and just follow it
Yeah.
along. That's fine.
Well, yeah, you have to spend an action to give it an order, though, but not to make it do
yeah,
stuff. You could,
yeah.
the order
Yeah,
could
so
just
yeah.
be like sweep, and it can be sweeping for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just spend 6 seconds telling it to do that.
Yeah, so yeah, she would have done that. She would have used cast it as a ritual, which takes 10 minutes, I believe.
Certainly. Make me a perception check, please.
Okay. Always. There we go. I mean, that's persuasion, not perception.
Correct. Give me a reroll. All right. Yeah. You notice that there's a mouse that kind of scurries around in your manor, and I know Megara wouldn't kill it. She would just pick it up and
Yeah.
let it out. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a yeah when I heard it on
I
Discord.
said, oh, yeah.
No problem.
That's. But, one thing she kind of has an issue with, she realizes, is that despite the fact that her room has access to a private bath, it's just a poorly planned out room. She wants to know, she does not know who decided to structure the room in this shape.
Oh, it's not too unknowable. A little passageway, some might call it like an ensuite hallway. And, yeah, then it is just like you've got your fireplace, you've got your desk that's just to the side, an escape route to the left of you, and your own private bath to the right. I could see this being a room in a multi-building apartment, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the big issue is the fact that the only good spot for a bed would be right across from the fireplace.
True. That's not so unthinkable. Fireplace at the foot of your bed, definitely to keep you warm in winter. Makes sense. I think that's a
But, yeah.
fireplace. I'm sure it is.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely does. Definitely does. Yeah.
In fact, I think, I think they might all be like, there's like what, multiple fireplaces connected to one chimney?
Yeah, so there seems to be a situation that, I think for the situation like here, they have a Doctor Who and the Masquerade sort of situation have a fireplace that does not have a wall intersecting between the two. And beneath that fireplace is likely another one a floor below. So that one at the private bath maybe connects to the kitchen's exhaust. So, but that wouldn't make too much sense because, well, you gotta have like all those vents coming out somewhere. Charles Skull Manor probably does have a very complicated series of vents and whatnot that I have not even begun to guess at. But it's definitely there. But yeah, that's a fully functioning fireplace. I'm going to rule that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, with her, so after a bit of cleaning, the fact that the kitchen's not exactly, well, it's still out of order until she gets things tidied up. She's just gonna go for a bit of a walk around the neighborhood.
Very good, very good. Um, Before we move, yeah, no, we'll do that now. So there are some places you still haven't quite visited yet. You know of, Fala, who deals with the herbalism and potions and whatnot. You know of Embrick and Avi. You've yet to visit the Bent Nail or to explore what this interesting building is, or this one to the very far end of your street. And there are many others in the middle that might well interest you.
Yeah, so she's curious what the bent nail is. That sounds like, that sounds like a tavern.
It is not. When you get
Or
to
a
the
carpenter.
It is a carpenter. Yes, you're quite right. When you do approach here, you can see that this place has, as remembered, instead of like the words "a bent nail," it is literally a signpost with a large, literal bent nail stuck into the signpost itself. And inside, you can hear that there is somebody that's working away at gently carving away a certain bit of woodwork. Quiet, but there's definitely a scuffle that you can hear.
Hmm.
Do you enter?
Yeah, she'll pop in.
Very good. Excellent. Why is these details not available when I need them? That's not fun. That's not cool. That's not cool at all, game. There we go. That's what I wanted. That's what Daddy needs. Okay, so yeah. As you enter here through the bent nail, you can see that there is this. Okay, yeah. There's this there's this half elf who stands up before you, as he is wearing an apron that is littered with sawdust and other woodwork. And within, you can see that he actually has a collection of more adventuring applicable series of items and whatnot. Certainly a druid's paradise, as nothing is here made of metal. He has a collection of chairs, tables, furniture, ornaments, idols of like gods and other fun little like woodworking and whatnot. He also does have a collection of bows and wooden weapons that include from mallets and warhammers and great clubs, and to some very sharp and snappy walking canes and sticks that are very fashionable, has to be said. And all of them do have unique curling bits of intricate artwork. As you take this in, this half elf comes forward and he just goes, "Welcome to the Bent Nail. Is there anything here that may catch your interest, fair madam?"
So, just out of character, so there was no actual like leftover furniture in Troll Skull. Like it was just completely barren.
That is not true. There were chairs and tables that were there. Some of them were broken, some of them were in bad, dusty kind of disrepair. But it was not without some furniture. It is just that the furniture that you have might not be suitable. They liable
Yeah.
to break under certain amounts of pressure. So yeah, not so great. But you still have some.
Yeah. So with that, Megara will introduce herself. She says, greetings. I'm Megara. I am one of the new inhabitants of Troll Skull Manor.
Oh, how have you found some of the voices that linger in there? And you can
We
tell.
killed him.
Oh, well then. Well, all right. I take it you're not a lady to be messed around with.
She just gives a curt smile to that.
And he just goes, well, that wouldn't be the first. We've had many to come through Trollskull Manor. I forget who its first inhabitant was, but they were someone of serious renown. And he ponders. He stands there, crossing his arms over his chest as he taps his foot, closing his eyes and thinking hard as he just goes, "What was her name? Was it the Gargoyle? Completely forgot. Oh, excuse me, miss. I got lost in thought there for a moment."
No worries.
Now that being said, is there anything here that might catch your fancy?
Well, I was just walking around having a look at the neighborhood and, well, figured this, the bent nail, as you call it, sounded like a carpenter to me.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I thought I would introduce myself because no doubt we will be needing your services sometime soon.
Yes, definitely. It will be my pleasure to help with a neighbor out, indeed. So when he stops, he pauses immediately before you, and all of a sudden, it appears as though he's not moving at all. Not under the effects of a slow spell or anything like that. You wave your hand in front of him, and clearly the passage of time is working correctly, and his breathing is still moving at a pace, but he kind of goes still before you.
Okay.
A brief moment later, he kind of catches his breath and blinks his eyes a couple of times as he immediately goes, "Excuse me, I have to go." And without waiting for your response, he suddenly, out of nowhere, heads out of his shop and goes walking.
Yeah, you said there were voices. So was he the only one in here, or was he talking to himself, or was he?
No, he was referring to the ghosts of your place, which you had already guessed to say
No.
that you've killed them.
No, what I mean is, like you said, as Megara was walking past, she heard voices coming from within the bed now.
No,
like,
you heard scufflings of a woodworker.
scufflings. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, what do you make of this?
She's going to put it up to magical hijinks of Waterdeep, and she'll think nothing. Like, she'll think it's a bit odd, but she'll just shrug and leave.
Oh, well, alright then. You wash your hands of that randomness, and you proceed on. Adrian, what do you get up to during
Yes.
this time?
Is this this is the same day where she dealt with the Fire and Water Ganassi brothers, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, because I remember it was established last time. During that day is when I had done that thing with the cups, and I made a grand total of 3 gold because I'm so awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly right,
This,
yeah.
this was that same day, so that's what I was up to.
Exactly. So, this is around the time that you've kind of given up at the Sea Ward. Clearly, clientele there are, though rich, much more skeptical of your shady alleyway dealings, it seems. And with what you've managed to obtain from them, you've begun to maybe meander your way around, peering through new places to potentially peer out and to explore, perhaps. Where might you care to explore?
How much do I care to explore?
That's up to you. You tell me.
Hmm.
You can
Well,
go
let
home right
me-
away if you want.
Let me just try and remember real quick. I remember where I was, I will remember where I was if I see it, because it was called like Whim Street. I found it.
Ah, very
Okay.
nice.
So let me bust out the wonderful drawing tool here. I want to take a roundabout route back. Just walk down the street like this, not through buildings. That's just my hand not being the best because I'm mildly intoxicated.
That's okay.
And then just keep going through, and then wrap around and just work my way through all the side streets here back to Troll Skull Alley. Just explore a bit.
Very good. So it seems in your drunken state, you have made your way to somewhere new, definitely. So your character ends up a little bit lost, which is fine. And this is cool. You seem to have found your way towards Waterdeep's City of the Dead. Not somewhere you are particularly familiar. Well, no, sorry. This is a place you are particularly familiar with.
Well, near the City of the Dead, not quite in it.
Your character is quite lost, and I'm gonna just take you that other couple of steps more just to get you there. Yeah, with your character seemingly not paying too much attention where he was heading off to, you made it towards Andamar Street, and from there you can see that there is a variety of people, lots of families actually, coming out from the park, as it were, or rather the cemetery, as it's come to your remembrance that you haven't quite paid respects to your former family members that are buried here in quite a while.
This is probably true.
Yeah. So, with that in mind,
I figured.
Go on.
Oh, yeah. Knowing that, it wouldn't hurt to stop by.
Yeah, certainly. You begin to make your way into the City of the Dead, which, despite its name sounding so intimidating and nasty in a sense, it is actually a rather idyllic park. There is, however, lots of unattended horticulture of many sorts, trees, other plant life, small little lakes that might have been very pretty in its heyday, but as time has recently gone by, this graveyard has had a bit of downfall. It's lost some of its luster, and it has started to show signs of neglect. It's just not been the top priority of Waterdeep, even though it is, for many residents, a nice little breakaway into nature. Oh, excuse me. Give me a history check, please, Adrian.
Why can't I remember the alphabet? There we go.
That's very good. Some of the stranger things that you can remember about the City of the Dead that kind of has always annoyed you is that there seems to be some kind of undead force that resurges every night in the City of the Dead. It has been destroyed on many occasions, but it doesn't ever really stay dead. For some reason, nobody has been able to get a cleric out here, and those that have tried have failed to remove the spectre from this graveyard. So the City Watch just basically locks it up each evening, upon which it is getting close to.
So, my parents would be buried here, correct?
That's correct, yes.
I would like to stop by.
Certainly.
I assume I would have, even though I wouldn't have been old enough when they had died, I assume I would have popped by at some point while they were there to visit the gravesite, so
Oh, of course.
I'd know where it is, right? Okay.
Absolutely. You guys, being a noble family, do have a little bit of a spot that's left aside for you. There are also many impressive mausoleums that dot this graveyard, with other esteemed nobles in the past, but have since shared their land with other nobles that have come and gone in ages gone by. So with that being said, you come across your own family, their grave of the Fairbrands, laid there in black marble, as it reads your family's names. Much beloved, and having been taken too soon. And you spend a moment to have some quiet reflection. While you do this, Razif, what do you get up to in this time?
Razif slept in today.
Alright, that's totally fine. Does he just spend the day resting?
He did pick up, made some little shrine to Tyr in his room.
He made a little shrine. Who to?
To Tyr.
Oh, to Tyr. Oh,
Yeah.
very nice. Okay. How do you make the shrine? What do you make it out of, and how do you make
Well-
this your own shrine? You know.
He had a little table in the room, and his Tyr symbol is a weight. What was it? Balance scales, and it's a miniature warhammer on one side. But even though it's one thing is on one side, it is still balanced.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you make it out of... Where is your bedroom while we are checking up on this? Because I know Adrian
I
wants
think-
the master bedroom.
I think he was attic, yeah.
In the attic.
Alright.
Alright, very well. Yeah, fair enough. So, actually, you got this whole other attic storage area. Was that going to be used for the orphans? Man, I forget.
No, Corin. Actually,
Yeah.
no, Corin was commandeered the library.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah, they've...
But the
So-
storage might be Corin. I think it was kind of just wait till they're actually here and see which they want.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think they did assign the library since there was a place to squeeze a bed in there. And I see you put a circle around the fireplace. This would make a great place for a shrine. You can't do fires, but it would make a great place for a shrine.
Yeah, it is shrine. Doesn't it say right, Bob?
It does indeed. It does indeed. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine by me. Yeah. And
Yep.
what kind of tool proficiencies do you have?
None.
Wow, okay, fair enough. That's totally fine. In that case, then... Why don't you just give me a flat D20 roll? Nothing added.
All right.
Oh, well, yeah. Alright, so... You were making this with the form of a hammer that's perfectly balanced, right?
The scales are perfectly balanced.
Oh, the scales of justice.
Even though the hammer is on one side.
Ah, got you. So, essentially, no matter what you do, you can't get your scales to balance. It's just frustratingly annoying, and they are not balancing for you. They keep going back and forth.
Have to rebalance it later, I guess. Well,
Yeah,
now it's fine. It's just a starter shrine. I'll build it up later.
just a starter shrine. I like
Yeah.
it.
You just need to get better at math.
I mean, I will when I defeat my enemies and stuff, I'm gonna fill my room with a couple of things,
I just like it.
trophies.
Yeah, totally. I see you've got a place laid out for a dummy to put your armor onto to look very triumphant. I've seen that, which looks awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, very
Just-
nice.
Just made this room today.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, alright then. Is there any other business you'd like to take care of?
Nope.
Alright, excellent. Back to Ponk. Ponk, you make me a wisdom saving throw, please. Alright, Ponk, so you you kind of go a little bit insane. Not a lot insane, just a gentle portion of insane, because you have been in essentially what has felt like a maze. and this maze has kept you looping around back and forth over and over again. You've been directed by many individuals, and you've almost broke down and cried to a few of them as they're just like, oh, it's just down there and take 2 rights, and you maybe have been like, but I've taken 17 rights! Ah! You may have gone through such trauma going through here, but by the end of it, you have found your ale. Your wine, rather.
Yes, the Haiti Kayora. This drink was meant to make for so that any monk who like using a drunken master can drink it without getting a stone kidney.
Oh,
In the long run.
very
At
interesting.
least that was his attempt. You can see now that the Pog is now having a beard coming out. It's not actually a real beard, but it came from the dust of like him trying to search for this drink within the cellar.
Oh, excellent.
And he's look like when he come out, he's gonna look like Tom Hanks that was like from Castaway.
You will have got a little friend that you've made out of a face, and you just called him Wilson.
Yes, and that's going to be his KD Kayora drink
Oh,
at the
lovely.
barrel.
Yeah, so this is a small barrel. To others, this would be like a footstool of barrels. Needless to say, it is listed there with the house brand that it is marked by and recognized by the guild. It is essentially, in a way, trademarked by the Vintners, Distillers, and Brewers Guild. And as such, nobody has permission to mess around with it. And yeah, you're free to take it away.
Okay, I'm gonna do just that. And yeah, I'm gonna come out and then I will quietly come up with I assume that the brewing supply, the staff will be going down there to install it, yes? In a throat skull manner, or do I have to ask someone first?
I mean, you don't have to ask anybody to take your own ale out, but if you want to place a few orders for more wine to be delivered to your place, you may want to go back to reception. Hopefully your lovely lady Derefindil is still there, and she can put that order down for you.
Yes, as she turn around, she probably seeing this kobold with the barrels and with like, as I told you, a dust beard coming out, and he's gonna say like, "Alon C."
Alonzi. Okay, she just goes, oh wow, that's you okay, Ponk? You look like you've seen the end of time.
I almost actually I see this dragon with 7 heads is talking to me in myself, telling me bad things. I tell them that I have no allegiance and I'm looking for one, but not this one. 7 heads are taking care and feeding them all the drink will be way too many.
And she just basically just goes, hang on, dear, I'll be right back. And she quickly gets a little bowl of water. And she rushes forward to you when she gets back, and she just goes, now hold still. And with a little cloth, she dabs it into the water, getting it wet before cleaning off your face very roughly. As she just goes, there, we can't have you going out in all this dust and whatnot.
Pong is going to like nudge her like as a form of thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, quite welcome. At this point, you can see that a human male is approaching you both, and you can see that Derefimil kind of has a bit of a sigh. She just goes, Hammond, and this male basically comes forward, and this effete, well-dressed man has a young scribe beside him. A very young tiefling female who seemingly is walking beside him, making small notes, as she too has a pair of spectacles that kind of resembles Derefindil's quite a bit. Needless to say, she keeps silently, while Hammond comes forward and she leans over you being attended to by Derefindil, and she just goes, oh, Ponk! It's about time we saw you around here. Huh. That being said, what brought you here today? Were you going to get out of this dangerous business of wine selling and get back to hoarding some gold? Like a good little kobold?
Oh, you know how far I am from this place. From my cave is been way too far. After that, the barrel incident that put me here in Waterdeep in the first place. But no, I have a better things. And you tell you what, I gonna make you guess what it is because hey, it's always fun to have a lot of guessings. Maybe you will bring few more people to my place. In any case, I have everything. Probably I will count out and order brewing supply later. Daffodil, I will taking my leave.
Yes. So she basically nods and she's just like, oh, suddenly, and she's cut off as Hammond goes, oh, so we're taking shipments in now, little punk. Well, if you are to try and make do being some person's brewer, by all means, I assume you're up to date with the latest trends on what everybody is drinking in Waterdeep,
Well, not. Let's see. I gonna roll something and see if I can dig up the train.
Yes, I will allow you to make me a intelligence check with your distillery tools. So a tool proficiency check made through your intelligence / history.
So a brewing supply
Yes.
with the intelligence check.
That's correct, yes. This is the history of the brewery and whatnot.
Oh,
It's okay.
If only I have inspiration.
It's okay. It was with advantage. Even if I didn't say it out loud too much, but no, it was with advantage. No worries. So you actually know of one kind of wine that is coming up because you know that it was part to do with Angharan's day, and Angharan, being a man who enjoyed his violets, did enjoy a kind of purple grape type wine to go with it. Unlike other wines, it was tinted closer to purple than it was to red, and this has been known gently, rather affectionately, as let's see the year, something close to 1428 Violet, as it's called. 1428 Violet is the name of the wine. That's it, you got it.
Are you talking about the 1428 Violet?
Give me a perception check, an insight rather, to sense one's motive. He is caught aback that you knew that, and he has underestimated your winery skills, and he just goes, well, anybody knew that would be back in flavor, given that Angharan's day is dawning on us so quickly. So all good distillers and every shopkeeper will be sure to line that up. That's seasonal. That's seasonal. What I'm talking about is this, and he brings forward from the backpack from his tiefling scribe, who has been jotting all of this down, another bottle that has a kind of, I'll compare it to a fertility symbol, like a really chunky feminine form, that this bottle kind of has those curves to it, and has the relief of a kind of blank face. But if you look at it as like a piece of idle architecture, it's a very fat, gaudy sort of kind of curvy bottle. And he basically says, now this is some of the more interesting wines that have been imported over from some of the far distant islands, continents to the south. This has been known as the Mother's Firecracker. a particularly zesty flavored wine, full-bodied and particularly exotic. This is what's going to be all the rage in a couple of days from now, young little kobold. It will pay you good to place a few order of these. They will come off the shelves very fast. I promise you that. And he quickly puts it back.
I will think about it. There's a lot of things that I need to look on. A lot of financial just to make sure I don't go broke in a single weeks.
This guy Hammond scoffs at that as he just goes, "Oh well, don't go broke on our account, young little punk. We would be sad to see you go."
And then you can see like Pong just waiting for him to do like like one of those snobbish but it doesn't come, and he was surprised as he leave, I assume.
What is he waiting for Ponk to give such a remark?
No, he's just like, well, I will think about it. We will see.
Dureffendil, while kneeling down, tending to you, has like a very playful smile on her face as she likes how you're holding your own to Hammond, and she stands up, just brushes herself off as she just basically says, "Excuse me, gentlemen, I'll be taking my leave. This is the end of my shift after all. You boys have fun." Oh wait, but she actually just goes, wait, Hammond does actually catch her, and he goes, "Weren't you going to put down some orders of wine for this kobold? I mean, he did come by, and he is going to sell some." And Dureffendil lifts up a hand, does a 180 skimming on her foot, and she just goes, "Let's deal with that now, punk." And she basically just brings a little booklet before you, and it is good sense that you make a few orders for a few casks to sell on. Whether you take Hammond's advice or not, you certainly won't get far just on your one barrel that you will probably need to experiment to remember how to recreate it, you know? So, what I would like to ask you is, how much wine would you like to buy in gold?
Well, it is depends. And Pong is trying to thinking back, how much money do the groups have and willing to spare?
You don't have to pay over the table right now. This can all just be ordered. And
you
you'll-
mean like one of those like you take the order, sell it, and then assuming that there will be some net profit, one to pay back to the guilds and one to go back to my pocket.
Exactly. Being part of a guild membership allows you such flexibility for sure.
Huh. And he put his arm across his back. I mean his across his arm, and he said like, "What order do we have of late? Do you have like the stock? What in stock at the moment?"
She gives a bit of a sigh as she says, "Well, the 1482 Violet is down to only a few bottles left. I'm sorry to say, Ponk, that if you wanted to grab one of our reserves, it will probably cost you an arm and a leg. You'd barely see profit from that one. It will go off the shelf, but it's a bit late to... You just have to sell it for a real premium. That aside, we do have that fertility goddess firecracker that Hammond was talking about, and despite him being an ass, he does know what he's talking about. That is very popular at the moment. There's only a limited amount of shipments, but there are still some in stock we can definitely arrange to have sent to your establishment. There is also this other brand. The details are really sketchy, I'll be honest with you, Ponk. Somebody in the guild brought it forward. We checked the records and there was no name attached, which we're kind of worried about. We tasted it with our evaluators like Hammond. It's not poisoned. It's just got a very distinct flavor we haven't been able to really compare it to yet. It's a bit of a wild card in that sense, dear Ponk, so yeah. We have plenty in store though, and it has no demand because nobody knows what it is to want it. You're welcome to some of that, and of course we have some of the regulars that are going by.
Hmm. Do you have any way I can test making a what is it called? It's one of those test run between these two wines, just in case.
Oh, wait, you wanna just taste test these wines?
Do you still have stock for that? For the test?
Oh, of course, Ponk. Yes, that's what the others outside have been doing. Though I think they'll be closing up soon. If you want to grab a taste, you may only have time for one or two. Quite honestly, you better hurry. Ponk, which wine do you want to taste? From what I've described.
Between the cracker and the unbland one?
There's the cracker, like the firecracker. There's this kind of mystery wildcard one, and there is your own home brand one. You know that could be used as a taste test, given how it's matured over time. So you could give it that a go, whichever you see fit.
Because that's homebrew one. The only one who probably would know best would be Haram. I was intended to give that drink to Haram, but I could like to try to test. So I can test only one, right?
You can test yours anytime, but you know, they gotta get a guy to go to the barrels where you got lost, open one up, bring you a glass, and just be like, "Please, sir, at your leisure," and you just sit there in the courtyard, swilling it in your mouth, you know.
Well, I'm sure I'm confident that that guys probably know the drinks already, so I might as well should try out the wild card and see if it can kick up the notch.
Okay, very good. So yes, let's have that one, which is still has no name. It's just been labeled as it's still been labeled as the Ice Queen.
So you don't have so far you don't know who blew it, but you know but there is a name Ice Queen.
Well, we assigned, and yes, it is very strange, Ponk. We've asked the guild members in a meeting who brought it in. We otherwise would toss it, but after a guild meeting, we decided since it wasn't poisonous, not to waste perfectly good wine. So we've kept it, and we've just given it this alias. And
I see.
you're poured a glass of it. The wine is distinctly diamond-like in color. It appears as though it is very bubbly. It is very bubbly, and which is not very common for wine, has to be said. And it definitely kind of strikes whatever light is currently happening in that afternoon golden bathe, reflects through the water, and kind of shines before you. And it kind of looks very pretty, but certainly anything from wine that you've tasted or seen before, it definitely does not even don't even believe it's wine, honestly.
There's one way to find out. I'm going to test it.
Very good. So, yes, Ponk, give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Which saving throw is that for Constitution? Oh wait, Constitution.
Throw.
Oh yeah, I was hearing Fortitude for some reason.
You can also do this with your brewer's supplies as well.
So with my brewer supplies and using Constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, much.
Oh, all right. So you are taken aback as you are given a very sparkly experience. As you it's not something to truly savor. It seems to be a drink that's better to sip down, and the afterglow of it certainly leaves you feeling very energetic, very enlightened. It makes you, like, kind of twiddle your fingers as you have, like, a very tickly pins and needles sort of feeling that radiates through your body. And, well, you've tasted wine before. This is definitely not wine. It's definitely not wine that you know it as. But it seems to be something very interesting and might be received very welcomingly.
In other words, shots.
Who knows?
I assume it's probably a rosé. There is this type of sparkling wine called. It's not a wine, but it's called rosé. It's definitely. And Pongy said, this have a sparkly taste. Definitely not a wine. But, I think I might be able to sell it if I put it in the right positioning.
Well, with that, it's definitely clear that Derefendil says that, and she's chosen to sit with you while you're doing your tasting, and she basically says that, well, since nobody knows where it came from, nobody really wants to take the personal hit to their business. It's very cheap, dear Ponk. It's very cheap for that matter.
Yeah, but nobody's. The problem is nobody knows where it come from. If it turned out to be a dragon pea, that is going to kill my business within 2 days, 3 days.
Yep. Yeah.
Actually, I should bought a rope in the news just in case. Nah. You know what? Since I've been here and you know me, I've been brewing a lot of strange stuff, and this is so far is interesting in the world of strange. I might as well ordering this.
Well, very well, Ponk. I think we can definitely see to it to get you 20 barrels of it for 20 gold.
All right. And how much is the firecracker, by the way?
The firecracker is rather expensive. It is in season, as Hammond has said. It's about 3 gold per bottle.
3 gold per bottles. I might as well keep at least
barrel.
4 just in case.
Oh no, not barrel, bottle.
They don't have barrels. Okay, never mind.
Not with this
for
stuff.
For reference, our total amount of gold is 147.5. That's pulled together with everyone. So.
Yeah.
But I think you took your gold with you when you went to withdraw this stuff. So I think you had like 15 gold on you, something like that.
Don't worry.
Right now I have. I'm gonna ask GM. Right now I have 4 possible space to put down the drink. One space will definitely go with his signature Hedy Kayora, so that left with 4 space. In your opinions, like 1 per space, how much that Pong can fit all this drink in?
Not to worry. I mean, okay, that's a valid question. 5 feet across, ceiling that goes to about 15 feet in height. Each barrel may have like a radius of like 2.5 feet. So going across like this, 15 feet divided by 2.5 basically is like 6 horizontally, and then you can fit like about 10 vertically. So you could fit 60 crates just in this like cubby here. So every square could hold every like 5-foot cube square could hold 4 crates in a way.
Okay. So yeah, first thing first, I'm willing to pay 20 golds for that unknown, the Ice Queen, and I probably will at least have to buy 4 to 6 bottles of firecrackers just for the premium, in case some people come for the premium.
Yeah, and that's fine. But remember, you don't have to pay a thing, Ponk. You just owe the business. You owe the guild until the next like month cycle, you know.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I have enough to pay in case things went sour.
Very
You
sensible.
need to be, when you're in the business, you need to do some risk management. I like the risk, but also I need to have some way back because I'm sure you guys. I can't just declare bankruptcy and just take my business and end it there. But yeah, so far I'm definitely going to spend 20 goals and maybe. You said that getting the violet is impossible now. Yes.
Getting the what? Sorry.
The the 14 the 1428 violet.
She basically goes, "It's not impossible, Ponk dear, but I'm sorry to tell you that one bottle costs." She takes a moment and she basically says, 500 gold. That's
I
one
see.
bottle.
I guess I should. And you can see like Pong just thinking like, I should have bought it when it was off season.
Yeah, exactly. That's how markets go, you know.
Can't be helped. In any case, I'm definitely going to buy a bunch of ice queens and probably for the premium, I'm probably going to buy a few of the firecrackers just in case.
All right then, Ponk, in the chat, please give me quantity and name for each thing. The ice queens come in bottles at 3 gold apiece, and what were we just selling you? Oh god, the ice queens and the help me out, Ponk. Firecrackers. That's it. The firecrackers are the. Oh, it's the ice queen that is in barrels. Oh shit, yeah, that is the case. The ice queen is in barrels and is kind of cheap, while the firecracker is in bottles and not so cheap.
Okay, so the ice queen is 3 gold per barrel,
Exactly.
and the firecracker is how many gold per bottle?
1 per bottle. One per barrel. 1 per barrel. So you're getting a lot more quantity for this unregistered, unknown sort of alcohol, for sure.
No, ice queen is 3 gold per barrel. How much is firecracker?
Firecracker. That. Oh yeah, firecracker is an exported good. It's about 15 gold per bottle.
Just get barrels of booze.
Yeah, totally. Alright, very good.
Okay. I'm going to start. Let's say, you guys don't mind by spending about, how many golds are you guys willing to let me spend? 300, 400 golds?
Guys, Dorby's asking you a question.
Oh, sorry. I thought he was asking the guild that, like, how much the guild is, because you had mentioned he doesn't have to pay them back right away.
No, not right away. But I asked in case, like, if all go to Hex and this, like, it turned out that the ice queen will actually make up a white dragon pea, and people's gonna freak out.
I would say, given we have 147.5 right now, for sure, don't go over 200 gold.
Okay, I'm gonna go down to just 60 gold for now then.
Alright, very
Okay.
good. Alright, so Dorby, make your request.
Let's see. That's
10.
gonna be 30-ish. So that's gonna be 10 barrel for 30 gold and 2 bottles of firecrackers for 30 gold.
Very good. You're dealing business. Good man. Let's see.
Now, questions: is it possible to use ice queen and then try to make like mixed brew and make another kind of alcohol drink?
That will all come down to a brewer's supplies check, but yeah, it's possible. You have the tools.
Can always make mixed drinks.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's gonna be the first thing. Yeah, let's hit the world with this unknown thing known as cocktail.
We'll
Yeah.
create Waterdeep's first martini.
In your family restaurant, yes, the branding is on par here. But yeah, Dorby, you place your order. Please put a note of that into your treasure part of your character sheet. And, you know, after having done so, Derefindil puts it forward and promises that it will be by yours before Angharen's Day. And we
Thank
move
you.
on. Adrian, after your time
Hello.
quietly sort of reflecting at the family grave, you inevitably do stumble out. You feel a kind of stillness come over this graveyard. When the sun begins to set, this place starts to take on it has a nice like atmosphere to it when it is in the middle of the day, and as it dawns into night, you're getting a sense of a neariness. You're getting a dark, familiar chill down your spine. This is not the presence of undead, but rather something dark from the shadows.
You said it's a familiar.
Well, being as you are a sorcerer with powers granted from the shadows, that is where you're feeling this is coming from.
Do I have a source of light out currently?
Oh, you can easily do that. You have a tinderbox.
No. Quite the opposite. I want to make sure I don't have one out.
Oh, very well. Despite that, there is this movement, a regular movement and a known one, yet a weird one, where above you there is a culmination of drift globes, a minor magic item that produces cold moonlight illumination over a place. And I'll even share it to you for all of you to see. In your handouts, you should see drift globes. And all these multicolored, well, these pale moonlight-colored globes hang over the graveyard, kind of producing light over the scene. But this only seems to give more stark contrast to the shadows that lie in the hidden reaches of this graveyard.
Am I able to make anything out with my dark vision?
Oh, yeah. So your dark vision is in effect, not worried. And, you just see a collection of spaces, like places of shadow that comes on the back, that face, like tombstones that face towards the fading sun, and their long casting shadows just seem to draw your attention.
I'm just going to keep myself calm and say,
Yeah, totally.
whoever or whatever is out there, feel free to make yourself known.
There is an eerie moment where... Make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
-1.
You look at the long shadows put upon the ground by your own parents' tombstones. And as the sun continues to fade, those shadows grow longer and further, like two great monolithic pillars laid bare across the ground as you're watching it stretch. You can't help but find yourself staring at it as it continues to grow across the ground, your eyes fixated at these two huge rectangular shaped black squares. As you peer longer, you hear a growling. You hear a sighing and a sobbing. You hear mutterings and whispers of despair and bitterness. A chill, stark wind blows in over the eastern side of the Sword Coast, flashing fast towards the west, as if being chased out by the world and cast into the ocean, as you're stood there feeling like the earth and sky are currently like opening up, as you feel very small all of a sudden. How do you approach this?
So am I able to move?
You are. You've lost track of time essentially from that wisdom saving throw.
Given that I didn't receive a response to asking if anything was there, I will now actually light my torch.
Very good. When you do so, you are surprised to see that the shadows of your family's tombstones do not just kind of like split as you would imagine would happen when a natural light source comes into view of a shadow. Instead, all of that light source, all of that like shadow disappears right to the base, further than you expected, and acting outside the typical like laws of nature.
I am going to set the torch down and move to the shadows.
Do you move to any shadows in particular?
The ones by my family's grave.
Well, those ones you have just basically removed by this torch, and this torch didn't just like illuminate a portion of those casting shadows,
Mhm.
it removed them. Though
Yes, so
Oh, go on.
I set the torch down a bit back and moved to the shadows. Is what I meant.
Oh,
So they would
so you put it in front of the tombstones to make those shadows.
exactly.
I follow you. You do so, and you hear a secondary howl of wind that basically sort of yawns through the shadowy areas beneath. And you choose to step through?
I shall.
You enter it, and to your surprise, you fall through. And you re-emerge on the other side. Immediately, you're given a glimpse of a dark, overcast, grey, overhanging sky that feels like the clouds are made out of heavy chain, rusted chain, that hangs stagnantly above your head. You catch the stale breeze of what you think is a bog that seems to be nearby, and while you are at a graveyard, it seems here you are at a sort of hanging gallery. There is a variety of dead trees, dead hard trees, that all have hanging skeletons that have long since decayed, and yet still manage to hang on to rags and tattered bits of flesh. And as you begin to view them, the wind gently moves their hanging bodies so that they eerily look at you as they remain motionless.
Would like to take off the glove on my left hand and look at my mark. Is there anything different?
Nothing is different. However, you feel you do not feel at home, but you have an innate understanding that you believe this place is tied to your shadowy-like powers. When you were a child and this mark first showed itself to you, you feel like the demons that were under your bed were as equally tied to your mark as they could ever be. And now in maturity, you just have the understanding and preparedness to actually walk underneath the bed and greet your monsters. this land seems to be their domain. And it is a shadowy, dark representation of Waterdeep itself. And it seems to be that you have entered a city, not unakin to Waterdeep, but dark and shadowy.
I'd like to take out my bubble pipe and
Okay.
just see, does it work here?
It does work, yes. It definitely does
Okay.
work. Though instead of pristine, glowy sort of bubbles, the light, or rather the lack thereof, just show them to be this sort of hollow, drawn-in kind of thing. They lack the whimsy as they hang in the air in a nasty sort of way, and just kind of pop with unsatisfying sound effects.
Would there, this is what I'm saying, would there happen to be anyone or anything nearby that understands me?
You will have to step forward, because before you, there is a bustling, well, not bustling, but there is a light glowing from many individual homes, a very orange light that, kind of, hints at activity, as you can see that there is a wide, sprawling city before you, and you
I
are
have
in
a
it.
particular destination in mind.
Where would that be?
Home, not Troll Skull Manor, but home.
Well, that is back on the material plane, and you definitely
Where
go on.
home, because this is like a darker Waterdeep, where
Yes.
home would translate to here, if that
Very-
makes sense.
That does make sense, and some vague sense of landscapes do seem to ring a bell. However, it is clear that this place is only a slight dark reflection, and that there is many things that definitely are different. As you walk down the streets, you definitely see dark, shadowy figures moving within orange light lamped places, and everywhere you go, it's almost as if there are people nearby, but all you see is the shadows that are cast from them, as people are quietly talking in alleyways, and people are mostly settled into their homes, and any creature that's walking on the street just seems to be ahead of you or behind you. And the buildings that line the streets, either side of where you're walking, almost curl over, unneeding to be hard and rectangular, as if they've kind of grown out from the ground into these like curvy spike-like figures, and kind of bent over, with structures and edifices that kind of give the impression that they are very nearby at all times, clustering your passageways as you wiggle about here and there.
Is there anything here that looks exactly as it does in Waterdeep? You
Not
said
ex-
it's a bit of a reflection, but
It is a reflection, but exactly like Waterdeep, of absolutely not. It
Like,
has
sorry, like very recognizable as something. Like, for instance, the statues, the sculptures, essentially. Would I see one of those? Something instantly recognizable, even if it looks different.
the landmarks appear sort of akin. You can make out the streets that might match. You make out the sort of like setup of this whole city, and you get the impression that it is a mirror image. But where you would expect to see a statue, you instead see like a desiccated one. Or you may find a stagnant, moldy fountain, still working and in function, though. But other than that, it does not seem to reflect Waterdeep too well.
So, bit of a experiment here. I am going to use prestidigitation to write on the statue.
Okay.
That is all I am going to do, I am going to write simply some nonsense, essentially.
Okay.
Just 3 words in sequence. Hold on, let me type them out.
I see.
Not even like real words, but
Very good.
just
Yeah.
kind of nonsense.
No, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
2 on the statue, and just to essentially see if it'll pop up
Back
in
in
the
the real
real
world.
world. Exactly.
Yeah, I
Just
feel
as a
you.
bit of an experiment, because I assume that there isn't a size limit on the letters. I am making this huge, and I am going to assume that if it does appear in the real world, these random words popping up on one of the landmarks of town, super huge out of nowhere, would be something people would talk about.
Very good. All right then. Well, you'll see how your experiment plays out. Now, furthermore, you continue to try and make your way back home, and again, it does seem to resemble Waterdeep. The streets are lined out the same, even if every so often there's like a crater that kind of looks like a muddy, dank pit, and either side there are seemingly people that are milling around. You even catch the sight of a quadruple set of elves that kind of stand in a huddle in an alleyway before you with pale skin and white hair. Not so akin from Drow, honestly, but just with a more grey than dark like skin. Just a bit paler than Drow are, and with much more narrowed eyes and like calm, muttering talk.
So you had mentioned that most of the people were shadowy, but by the sound of it, these people are more clear.
They appear to be like Drow. That's the closest description I can give. And you know of Drow.
Are they? I guess what I'm trying to say is, am I able to make them out somewhat clearly? Like, are they more distinct than the rest?
So these are the first creatures that have actually, like, not suddenly disappeared from your view. And these seem to be, like, casual pedestrians of, this city at the moment. And, they are currently stood around one another as they are just kind of chatting in what is otherwise a endless night-like affair. Just
I would like
discussing
to
something.
say in Elvish, hello, do you understand me?
The 4 of them kind of open their eyes like a hive mind, and one of them turns round to you and just goes, "Oh yes, we understand quite fine." Go on. You're in conversation with them.
May I? I believe I understand what this place is. May I just ask why I was brought here, if you happen to know?
I don't know, neither do we particularly care. But it is clear that you are a traveler, and as such, you are welcome to our Gloomwrought. Please make yourself welcome for your stay, and partake in some of the trade to be found here. Was there anything you needed specific help with, by chance?
No, not quite specifically. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what it is I'm looking for.
Oh,
But I do appreciate the welcome and the assistance.
Oh, don't go so fast. Please stay with us for a little while, and we can surely find what it is that you have clearly come here seeking. Come, just join us in this circle.
Should I? Obviously, they sound creepy as fuck to me, and I ain't
Yeah.
trusting this, but like in character, would it be that obvious too?
It seems pretty obvious in character as well that these guys seem shady, as well as the whole place is in a land of shade. You can't get shadier than the land of shade.
Very fair. It's quite alright. I have an idea of where I'm going. Thank you very kindly, though. I'm going to give a bow and move along my way.
These four elves, these four pale, dark-like elves, watch you leave quietly, all heads kind of following you silently. And as you turn a corner, you turn your head back just to see if they're still watching you move. And when you check back, they're gone.
Huh. I'm gonna continue just moving along.
Certainly. So, when you continue on to the Fairbrand Estate Reflection, you see a place that seems to be very lively, actually. You can see that it has golden light that is peering out of large, intimidating windows. And within, you can hear music being played from violins. And you see multiple figures dancing around within its walls.
I am going to knock on the door.
Bush, bush, bush. The house seemingly rattles with each knock that you give, and the woodwork trembles as you hear the whole building kind of shudder and moan, as if it gives a cry out in fear of you, almost, as if the building itself fears as though a predator is at its door. And all the music and all the movement inside the house stops suddenly. And the front door creaks open. How do you proceed?
I'm going to say, my name is Adrian Fairbairn, and this is my home, and proceed through the doorway.
Very well. When you enter, you see there are a variety of individuals in masquerade masks, all of which have in some way been adorned with devil or demon-like outfitting, while some have mask-like figures that have these vacant, dark holes for eyes, while the rest of them seem to be attached to humanoids, tieflings, elves of various kinds, though you're unable to see their true face between all of their masks that they're wearing, diverse in many as they are. All of which, there are many individuals that stand there and basically turn to watch you enter as you come through into this lobbyway, and they watch you quietly sort of make your way through this house you think is your own.
Right. Now, I would like to announce out loud, is there anyone here I can make a deal with regarding my sister?
The crowd looks at you, and some of their heads turn and they look to each other silently. And then there is a tiefling that steps forward, and you believe it's a tiefling, but they have a kind of baby face mask to them of like a human, in a kind of dark, empty kind of smile on its mask. As he approaches you, he basically goes, it's clear that you're from the other side. We don't know anything about your sister. Though this place is a reflection, it doesn't share the souls that match. Where you have lost a sister, we have been happily enjoying our party before you rudely interrupted it and declared yourself the so-called owner of the estate.
I show him the mark and say, I am Adrian Fairbrand. Whether this be in the material plane or here, this is my home.
Oh, you think so, do you? And to this, what you can count as perhaps the 30-odd individuals step closer in all their various ball gowns and masquerade masks, and they step forward in a smooth, slow fashion, and the baby-faced smiling tiefling in his mask basically asks you, do you feel as though this is your home?
I do.
Then you are sorely mistaken. And,
Oh, sorry, I wasn't gonna...
what's up?
I wasn't quite finished with...
Oh, go on.
I was
Go
gonna
on.
say, I do, but by all means, do not let me disturb the party.
You have already disturbed it. Claiming to own this place, claiming to own these things that you do not know of. Foolish, insolent whelp. How dare you come in here, spouting such nonsense? How dare you bring that color, that life in here? Get out.
I'm going to listen, given I don't like the idea of making 30 enemies immediately.
Certainly. Make me an Arcana check, please.
Just a... Why? Oh, that's why I can't find it. I'm looking in the wrong spot because I'm a moron.
Oh, very nice. Aside from the tiefling, all these other creatures, you somehow can tell, you peer at them, and you can tell they are illusory.
It's the only one here?
Yes, the tiefling is the only physical creature present.
So, actually, instead of leaving, I'm going to say... It's not much of a party with only one person, now is it?
The tiefling basically looks at you while all of the others continue there, and he says, you find in the shadows that other shadows can be your very dearest of friends if you let them be.
I do not doubt this at all. I'm simply saying, having someone else join the party for but a moment does not hurt. Now does it?
He basically gives a roll of his head as he basically kind of just goes, how frustratingly optimistic. How naive. I'd figure the family that reflected this very home would understand things more clearly. And he takes off his mask and crushes it in his hands. And to your great and absolute horror, you see that this tiefling creature has no face, no eyes, no nose, no mouth. Only his ears and the hair to him, as before you there is seemingly just this simple bare spot on his face, where it lacks all visages of something there, just a blank red screen of skin.
You have your mother's eyes. I'm guessing.
He gets very angry at you. He bares his hands and he reaches out as he he has a great anger you can feel, and you feel it as if the building felt it. As he basically kind of grunts and he just goes, and he stops himself. He stops himself, and he automatically just like shakes this frustration off. He shakes his face and head off, as he basically says, "We are civilized here, and we don't harm trespassers unless they harm us first." Anyway.
So, first things, now that the mask is off, where is there any, like, I know there's not really a face, but is there any sort of distinct movement when he's talking and grunting, or does it just seem to kind of come out of nowhere?
It's like he acts as though he has the mannerisms of somebody that would otherwise be moving a mouth, but there's no jaw movement. But he definitely has the body mannerisms to show like he's trying to convey when he talks.
I give a bow and I say, I apologize for any perceived rudeness. Allow me. And I'm going to, not turning my back, walk out the door and close it behind me.
You hear a sudden "wait" as he like comes to the door before you, and he basically his tone has become very, very different. In a split second, it has changed for reasons unknown to you. And in a desperate state, he goes, "Go to the top floor." And with that, he like takes his leave and kind of walks with a frustrated stomp, which confuses you probably more, straight away from the living room and back towards what you imagine is like a back of the house, essentially, some sort of like kitchen area or like a second parlor or whatnot. But the stairway kind of beckons you forward quietly as the whole house and mansion yawns there.
Simply put, I don't know how to leave. He's still frustrated. I am going to assume that he has gotten orders telling me to go upstairs for another bit. So I am going to listen. I don't know how to leave. I got nothing else going on. It doesn't hurt. So I'm going to go up the stairs.
Each step you take creaks the floorboards. They continue to eke and groan with each step that you take. And here you see that there are little candles that are lighting the way. And when you turn a corner, everything goes from a midnight orangey glow to a dark purple flame that lights up this upper floors. And you approach a door that seemingly is your sister's door as it creaks open yet again to you. Inside, you see a dark room filled. It's not filled with cobwebs, and it seems untouched by time. And within the bed sheets, you see your sister, sick and rolling side to side.
Lillian?
I
move over to the bed.
You do so, and the door closes creakingly behind you as you do, though your sister lays there. She just basically says, Adrian, please make it go away. Please make this pain stop. Please. I don't like how cold it feels.
I take her hand. Don't worry, Lillian. I'll do what I can. Okay? Haven't I always fixed things?
She suddenly, or she like smiles defeatedly as she just goes, I won't be able to live much further, Adrian. I feel cold. I feel so cold. And your hand, it feels so warm. It feels so full with blood. It feels so full with fresh blood. And you see your sister's eyes pupils narrow into sharp arrow-like slits as her breathing sort of sounds more animalistic, and her teeth sort of bare itself at you as she just goes, you have not yet fallen to it. You are still ripe. Don't let it get to you. Let me take your life first. Let me take it before you feel this despair, Adrian. Give me your soul and blood! And she suddenly lashes out at you before all of a sudden you fall with a clamber in your bedroom back home.
Clarification, Trollskull Manor or actual home?
Actual home.
I am going, if it's my room, I am going to immediately get up and go to my sister's room.
It's exactly
And
as you remember it. Unchanged from the moment she died.
My sister?
No, it's in your sister's room. Oh, is your sister alive?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, so...
She's just sick, yeah.
She is laying there, she is laying there, and she is, like, as you remember, but she seems in good spirits today. She's sitting upward, reading a book at the least, as, it seems to be about, pirates and their notable histories, and how it founded Waterdeep. And she basically goes, Adrian, is everything alright? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I'm just going to ignore her for a moment, walk over, my hand on her forehead, and see if she feels like she has a fever or feels cold or anything.
Make me a medicine check.
Negative wisdom, come into play again, baby.
Yay.
Medicine.
She feels fine. This seems to be a good day for her.
Yes. Everything's fine, Lillian. I'm
And,
just
yeah.
checking up.
She just goes, thanks, brother. It's nice of you. How are you settling in at Trollskull Manor?
Doing my best. I've already told you about those I've met.
Oh, yes, you
There's-
have. I really love Ponk. He sounds adorable.
I'll remember to bring him by to meet you at some point. I'm sorry, I had popped by with him for a moment to get clothes for the opera, but I had forgotten to introduce him properly at that time.
It's fine. You had to get there in a hurry, I know. How was it? Was it any good?
I wasn't able to enjoy it quite as much as I would have liked, but that's a story for another time.
Oh, Adrian, don't be such a stick in the mud. You know, you don't have to be sad just because I'm feeling ill.
Oh, right. And I dig around for a bit. And I'm like, I have a present for you.
And she sits up, her eyes glisten a bit as she just she closes her book and she pats her lap as she just goes, oh, what you got for me?
And I pull out the bubble pipe and I'm just like, look at what this can do. And I just show her what the bubble pipe does.
She smiles brightly as she just goes, oh, that's awesome. And she takes it and she's just like, so just blow right here, yeah? And she gives it a sudden blow and she sees that a multitude of bubbles comes up and she just goes, wow, that's so cool.
I just smile and I'm just like, is Grandma around?
I don't know. I saw her a couple of hours ago. I think she went off to see some of the other ladies down the street.
That's quite all right. Remember, I'm going to head back to the manor, but remember, if you need anything at all you need to do is ask.
Yeah, I know. But you have fun over there. Have fun with your friends. Get out. Live a little.
I'll do my best, Lillian.
Yeah, come on. I'm the one that's sick. You need to live it up on my part, or else I'm just going to be more angry the next time I see you.
You're angry at me every time I see you, for one reason or another.
No, I'm not.
I just raise an eyebrow, like, really?
Only when you do something stupid or you overthink something.
And when do I not do those things?
Alright, I suppose I'm just going to stay angry at you until you die. And I have to be sorry.
Well, so long as you stop being angry after I die, I suppose that's the best I can ask for. And I just wink and head out.
She
Get back
basically
to the
calls
manor.
out as she basically says, if you die in a stupid way, I'm still going to be mad at you.
At least you can laugh at me.
And by this point, you get out of earshot and you begin to head home. That was a bit intense, wasn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, I was thinking I might die.
Yeah. You came close a couple of times, but don't worry.
Oh, I'm sure if I had decided to live it up with the elves, I probably would have been stuck there forever.
Something interesting, Raven-like may happen. Razuf, what have you been up to in this meantime? And I think Megara and you have basically retired for the evening. And to be honest, you've both been waiting for Ponk and Adrian for quite a while, and you guys might be a little bit bored, honestly.
Yeah, I just eat in the bar, cast purify food and drink on everything I ate before I eat it.
Nice, yeah. So yeah, you just like quietly sort of like eat there, and yeah, you just like, I don't know, it's been a couple of hours that you haven't really found that adventuring lifestyle yet, you know?
Just wait for everyone.
Just wait for everyone. How about you, Megara? You just wait?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably getting too late now to continue going around and introducing myself to the neighbors.
Oh no, not too late at all. You can absolutely continue to do that, or you can do it with the others.
Yeah, well, yeah, she probably will decide that it is better to have the others.
So, first Ponk comes back, and he comes back with 3 porters who are manhandling a wooden wheelbarrow behind with some barrels of various ales listed as Ice Queen, and a couple of bottles carefully being carried in vertical crates listed as firecrackers, as they're brought up, and Ponk directs them to start putting them into the tap room while he basically gets the cellar open and begins to bring them down. As Ponk unloads this, Adrian finally comes back, and from what you guys can see, looking rather pale. Honestly, he looks very pale.
You look like you've seen a ghost. Again.
Well, it's quite alright. I just paid a visit to my sister, and then I paid a visit to my sister.
You got 2 sisters?
No,
Well, that's weird.
believe me, it was indeed.
So, how's she like? Does she very nice, gentles, or maybe have no eyes, no mouths, and bleeding blood?
How did you
I would
know?
hope she would be bleeding blood. It'd be quite unpleasant to be bleeding anything else.
Yeah, that is very true.
I
Well,
don't
is
know.
that
I
actually
heard
what
well,
you said, Punk?
back when I was in my clan, there was this guys who like kept bleeding out instead of tears. I don't know what happened to him now.
Wow.
Well, we've met quite a few people in our time quite skilled at bleeding. Sometimes it was encouraged by us, however.
Leeches are always fun.
Well, you guys have definitely achieved a few things today. One of which, though, Magara, you did not do today, is to deal with the Bakers Guild, and neither of you or any of you have decided to deal with the talking mare that may have information to do with the Xanathars and the Zentarim groups.
Yeah, that definitely felt more like a group thing.
That's fair enough. You guys chill, relax, load up all of your ale and wine in the cellar, and you go to have a nice rest for the evening. The next day, you start up bright and early. Angharen's Day is tomorrow now, and you have a day to prepare everything if you want to be open for that day. Falson has continued to do his advertisements to try and attract customers, while you guys are still yet to get any food. What's more, you may choose to spend this time trying to talk to or find the mayor that was mentioned by Mert when you were at the opera. All these things are available to you. Which do you choose to get on with first?
So, Megara does mention, she says, it's like, there is no way we are going to... This, our little restaurant is not going to be ready for tomorrow for anything. This is going to take days, maybe even weeks. So, instead of doing any cleaning today, let's handle this job we've been given.
Well, I'm gonna start brewing something up, and it's probably gonna get fermented later. But either way, are you sure you can't make it ready by tomorrow? It's gonna be a big day. I mean, like I don't mind it because all my drink is not in the trend, you know.
I
Mm.
I like to
Relatively.
imagine Magar just sort of like gives like a nearby table like a bit of a hefty hit, and then the leg just falls off.
Well, alright, yeah, give me a athletics check, please.
Okay. Wouldn't that just be a straight up strength?
No, we'll call it athletics.
Okay. Either way, bad. Oh,
Yeah,
actually, it's a pretty good roll.
it is. You, what do you want to do? Punch through a table?
Well, no, it's just more like I like the idea that she just like gives it like a bit of a hefty hit, nothing like too hard. Like she does the whole Fonzie, punching the
Oh, punching
But-
the jukebox, yeah. Okay,
yeah, but
I
like
see.
doing that and then the leg just like falling off because that's just how like old and rotted they are.
Fair enough. It does that, though with some sort of self-pride in your work. You notice no dust came away from it, and this place is pretty clean from all of your hard work yesterday.
Yeah, so says she turns to I'm blanked on his name for a minute there, Ponk. She turns to Ponk and says, "So yes, there is there is still a lot of work to be done. Unless we, I don't know, maybe have a bit of a an open stall at the front. We could market it as gathering funds to help the opening of our.
Just while you're
Restaurant.
slowly pondering through all of this, there is a family that appear out front your door. There's a father who appears to be in a couple of like a very gentle red outfit with a very sharp little hat to him, while beside him he has a woman that definitely holds the hand of a well-dressed young boy who carries with him a little owl bear doll, and the three of them basically look up, and the boy is chattering away, while the father is smiling and talking to the mother as they basically look like they have a chat, and before the time they finish, they come forward, and the father basically knocks on the front door over here, and basically awaits if anybody's inside.
I would like to answer the door.
Yeah, so this well-dressed man, who seems to be human, of of Alaskan descent, blonde hair with blue eyes, steps forward, and he basically just says, "Oh well, it's nice to see the manor open again. Who are the new owners, if you wouldn't mind me asking?"
Of course, Punk, would you mind stepping up, please?
Yes, that would be me.
So,
Yes,
go on.
yes, myself and Punk are the co-owners currently of the manor.
Oh well, very nice to meet you. And the man goes forward to shake your hand, Punk.
Thank you. I kind of like it's a little bit awkward, but you can see that because of humans is shaking hands, you can see Pong is shaking a bit, but he's fine.
Yes.
So, what bring you here to the pleasantly non-abandoned manor?
The husband, basically this guy here, he basically goes and says that oh, my name's Drac, by the way. Please, please, Sir Ponk, feel free to call me Drac. We have a little bit of extra money, and for Angharen's Day, we wanted to go out somewhere. But given that the North Ward is particularly, well, you're right. You're right on the same alley to us, is all. So we could have a nice evening with our son, Defin. No, hang on, I can do better than that. Our nice son, Amphar here. And we can basically, once we've had a nice, fun evening, we can wander home within a short little walk, basically. And we were going to ask if we could hire the place out, basically.
Hire the place?
Yeah, that's quite right. Just the first floor, of course.
They're cultists. I don't trust them. They're gonna make other devil signs on the floor and summon a demon, and then we got a demon instead of just a ghost.
Yeah,
But that owlbear plush. How could people who holding such a cute plush be evil?
Ah, but when you cut it open, inside there's a Baylor inside.
There is the still beating heart of a child inside.
That's excellent. Yeah, totally. But basically, yeah, they're just like, yeah, we have a few work friends who may care to join us, and of course, it'll be open house. Hammond's Day just happens to fall upon our son Anfar's birthday, and the little boy basically, he grins at you, Ponk, with his like. I don't know if you call them like butter teeth. I don't know why I would think that. Milk teeth. Just like gapped sort of small little teeth, as this guy seems to be about 5 years old or so. And
Is this a boy or a halfling? Just a quick question.
it is a boy. He doesn't have a large halfling feet.
Okay.
But good to ask. It's usually what a halfling does to disguise themselves. And with his owlbear, he basically goes, "Oh," and he like springs it at you in the middle of the space between you. As the father chuckles and goes, "Yes, keep Mister Snuffles back for the time being, please." And the little boy just goes, "Okay," and just like holds onto his owlbear. And basically, they say that it's good to see that you've cleaned the place up a bit. Do you have any wine or anything with you already, or would we have to buy that separately?
We do have a few wines. Some of them are new blends, and I'm also good at mixings. I have my own wine. We have a few premiums and a few new things that we have recently import. But fair warnings. We just recently setting up the porters. We just simply sitting down. So if assuming that we accept your request and we're not 100% ready, early apologies in advance.
Oh, it's quite alright. Whatever you don't have, we can supply ourselves. We just would really like to use this as a space to relax and to unwind, and hopefully, we may have the Open Lord, Lariel Silverhand herself, come by. You never know.
Definitely cultist.
She may pop by here. We don't know. But if she does, we could be one of the lucky few that get to meet her.
I'm gonna roll insight very quick, not because I don't want to catch them live, but I want to know that what is like, why here out of all this place?
Oh.
Because I'm telling you, they're cultists.
I cast divine sense, just so if I
Firstly,
have any
Ponk, your insight tells you that they are being honest. Razuf, you cast a divine sense.
Yeah.
Alright,
It's just to find if they have any
you
unholy
come
items.
forward, the intimidating paladin dragonborn that you are, as the woman basically goes, "Oh my, Drac, look at the size of him." And he just goes, "Honey, please." He basically apologizes. Razuf, you detect unlawfully dark demons! No, not really. They're humans. They're perfectly fine.
Yeah, but do they have any unholy items?
No, they do not.
I was expecting you to say you detect those demons, but it's just Magar.
Yeah. Devils. You detect those devils if it's Magara.
But
You detect a high tier Draymond from the Owlbear plush.
Oh shit!
so
You detect the residual shadow fell on me.
You detect
Megara,
an ancient dragon.
Megara sort of taps Adrian on the shoulder, and she sort of, in a hushed tone, is like, "It would be really good to get some extra pay, especially since I think I've been needed to talk to you about. We need an oven."
I most definitely agree with that one. Just a moment. I'm sorry. I don't believe I introduced my associates yet. This here is Razeth. He operates essentially as a bit of security.
Oh, that's good.
And-
That's nice. We would appreciate that. Anyway, listen, I know there's a lot of people to meet, and I would love to get to know the team with you guys tomorrow. But, we're in a hurry to find a place, and if you are available, we can offer the standard rate of a venue such as this. Would you be willing to renting it out for the day for about 2,000 gold now and another 3,000 by the end of it?
Well, would you mind having a kobold doing the serving of the drink?
Oh,
At
of
least.
course. There's no reason why not to. That seems perfectly fine.
Now then, sorry, just to clarify, is this amount of money just for the renting of the room, or is it for the drinks as well? And
The drinks, the venue, just the whole experience. One great sum to know that everything's taken care of.
so it'd essentially just be like open bar.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like there is definitely something shady, but I have negative wisdom, so in character I don't know shit.
All right.
I
You
mean,
could
I
roll.
could just be assuming the worst, but
Hey, always assume the worst, and you're never surprised, right?
yeah, exactly. And I don't
I mean,
want to
that's-
roll another insight check when Punk's already done it. If everyone rolls a check for everything, there's no failure.
That's what I like about you. You get the sad, bitter truth of if everybody rolled, and then somebody succeeds out of the law of averages. I appreciate that. Anyway, go on, Ponk. You were about to say.
Well, Adrian, what do you think?
It's certainly not a bad deal at all for us. You said just the first floor, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's not often Anghaven's Day is usually followed by some sort of fireworks. That would be another occasion for sure that we would love to attend. But no, this is just a case of a merrymaking evening, a nice, comfortable space to unwind and relax. You might perhaps allow us to use your privy, should the occasion call for it.
Of course. That's
Uh,
not an issue.
FYI, it is. You haven't got the plumbers to sort it out yet.
What are you talking about? I'm just gonna have them go piss in a barrel in the basement.
Oh, good.
That's
Excellent.
Punk's problem then.
Wow. Okay.
Punk's just trying to sleep. There's a bunch of drunken people going into his basement, pissing in his wine.
But it's not like they're rude. They are just kind of like, oh, apologies. I can't stop now. So, how are you enjoying the party? Just like, yeah, go on.
I was about to say we can barrel up that piss and resell it under the brand name
Aw.
Budweiser.
Oh.
Oh my.
Hey, remember, like, if we have taking all the pee and using purified food and water, it became a drinkable water.
Oh
was
no,
saying
he is right.
I was
Oh,
just
he's
gonna-
right.
I don't think it would become water. The specifications of purified
Oh.
food and water just state that it's safe to eat or drink. So
Yeah,
it
but
would
you
still be
remember
piss. It would
it's
just be
considered as poison.
it would just be purified drinkable piss.
What is piss if not contaminated water that's contaminated with the elements of biological processes in the bladder?
It's
Well,
got-
there's
I mean-
still a fair amount of things in urine which are safe
Yeah,
to drink,
but
which would
with
still
the
be there.
purified waters, by the spell, it should turn it into drinkable water.
I mean,
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
It's
that's a
not
hit
taste-
and
it's not
miss
tasty,
ruling,
but
and
drinkable.
more often than not, it will be safe to drink. What it
This is
tastes
how we
like
get our
is going to be
cost
very
savings.
different.
This is how we get our cost savings. We just
This-
link the privy. We have two separate runoffs. One of them leads to a barrel. All the piss is in the barrel. We purify it, and then we reuse the water.
Oh no!
I mean, I believe
Yeah.
the joke was done in the GTA series
Paul-
where
Paul-
they have
Paul is
a
going
beer
to
brand.
maybe this is a good time I go and ask a humbling guide.
This is just like an in-character debate with these horrified people watching. We really need to go rent somewhere else.
Let's say you don't have this discussion in front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this sounds very meta since we're like, what's the specifics to purify food and water? Can we purify piss? Let's check the compendium.
Actually, that is a perfect argument for adventurers to have on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's fair.
Probability.
To quantify all non-magical food and drink within a 5-foot radius sphere centered at the point of your choice is purified and rendered free of poison and disease. So what I can tell you is you can safely drink the piss, but it does not improve the piss.
It's still gonna taste like piss.
But it's gonna be safe piss.
So we sell it to some of the
Actually-
brothels with some people with kinks.
Oh.
I just realized something. if you use purify food and water on alcohol, that basically stops it from being alcohol.
Yes,
I mean,
you technically
alcohol
destroy it.
Yeah, alcohol
is
is poison.
technically, yeah, alcohol's a poison.
I'm
Did I
going
just-
to rule that
No.
as a yes. That is indeed true. How it would work is, you know when you freeze milk and you let it thaw again, and it gets a layer on it, which is just water. The other substance is fatty milk substance, but the other half is water. You would essentially kind of separate alcohol in such a similar manner. You'd like, if it was like a bubbly can of Coke, you'd get rid of the bubbles and you'd get rid of the syrup, and you were left with just like the cocoa extract in the water, perhaps, you know? That's my ruling of when you would like apply it to something like ale or something, I guess. But it would be free from diseases and poisons. Yeah, it would
Well-
lose its fermented extract, basically. Yeah.
In any case, I suppose we should. One of us had to go spending some money on the plumbing today.
On the what?
I
Plumbing.
On pump. What is it called? Pumbling.
Oh,
Plumbing,
yeah.
plumbing.
Plumbing.
I mean, I had thought, are the pipes just completely out of the system? Because from what you had said, we don't have running water, but the toilet would still go to the fucking sewer. It just wouldn't have running water. Is that correct?
Well, the plumbing's
Yeah.
just fucked up, I guess.
I can actually be exact with this. I don't need to be vague. So it is key that this is dealt with by the order of plumbers and cellars. To roofers, cellars, basically to handle the roof, basement, and plumbing. Oh, okay. So you actually give very little detail. Great. So what the case is that what you have is like a long. You have a hole in the floor where your privy is, and this privy goes towards what you see is the ceiling on the floor below. So if I look at the second floor where there is no privy, and instead look at the third floor where there is a privy, it basically
No, but wait. They only say they only hire first floor, but since the first floor doesn't have privy, do they willing to pay still?
Okay, so from what I can tell, if you use the privy bathroom on the third floor, it would essentially just drip to the woodwork on the common room ceiling, and from there it would just fester until it kind of dropped into the tap room next to what I think is a piano.
So, in other words, we blame the ghost. That's ectoplasm.
That damn Slimer.
Oh my god, that's actually a really good idea. Although maybe you will lose customers if they think it's haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest, I would far rather go somewhere thinking it's haunted than thinking that there's piss dripping from the ceiling. So,
I don't know. I think I just choose not to deal with either.
I would not want to go to either. I'm saying, like, we're at a choice of I have to go to one or the other. I am going with the haunted place.
Right, well then. You're
Well-
welcome to see how that deals with things, yeah.
This
In
has
any
gone
case,
horrifically off track.
Punk could use definitely. Don't worry, Punk will go to the pumbling, and because he needs water to do a brewery to do his brewing
no,
too.
these are the plumbers and cellars guild that you're talking about, and you wanted to talk to them to ask about your cellar in which you might extend it.
There's quite a few reasons to go to them then. Because
Yes.
we want running water, we want to be able to urinate freely, and Punk wants to expand the cellar a bit as well.
Yeah, Lord knows where you've been shitting and pissing for the time being, but Waterdeep is a
Just
place
out the
that's
window onto the street.
Well, even if you do that, you will find your streets are clear the morning afterwards.
What
Thank
are we,
you,
a
Dunk
salvage
Super
kobold?
Skilled.
Dunk Super Skill, the real heroes.
They are real
They
heroes.
are the real heroes.
They are real heroes.
A bit of an anecdote. I once in a campaign found a bag of holding that was used as a portable toilet.
Oh, no.
That
Oh, come on! Oh,
I've
hang
heard
on.
worse ideas.
Hang on. Hang on.
That's how you defeat the BBEG. You just dump the bag on his head.
Yeah.
Dies
Yeah.
of disease.
A bag of holding. 4 feet deep only. Can hold up to 500 pounds, not exceeding a volume of 64 cubic feet.
500 pounds of just
Oh,
half work human, half elven, whatever feet.
No! But someone has to carry that. Knowing.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't smell. It's in another dimension.
Oh, I think it would smell. It would catch a little bit on the rim each time.
There's no oxygen. There's no air in a bag of holding. So
No! Oh God! Why have you done this to your DM? Why? Why? Oh.
To give you ideas for new campaigns.
Yeah, the campaign of the shit bag. Okay.
It's
Oh.
the quest to retrieve it.
You know. Oh
Yeah,
God.
but either way, one of us
God!
have to go. One of us have to go to the pumpling and get this thing deal with.
Oh. I mean, I've just pictured, just like, you found a bag of holding. Great, I put something in it. It stops halfway. Oh.
Keep falling
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
Okay,
we
okay.
found it in a
anyway.
goblin's den.
Yeah.
We should probably move along. We're
Yeah,
in
there's a
favor of
family
taking
here.
this deal,
There's
right?
a family here that don't know the streams of piss and shit you have planned in your future.
we should. Are we taking the deal? I say we take the deal.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah,
just
let's
don't
do
have
that.
it on them.
Because I mean, I'm just like. Would you like to look around before you make any final decisions?
Basically, they will say that, oh, no, we are familiar with the place. We've seen it once or twice in the past. We've always had our eyes set on it or wondered about what will become of it. And, no, we're happy. I mean, it only has to be a tap room, really, for a private collection of our invited friends and whatnot.
Megara will add, she's like, and you don't have to worry about any sort of ghosts. I made sure that we dealt with that.
Oh.
Know about the ghost before you mentioned it.
The wife here goes, ghosts? And Drac kind of looks her in the eyes and she goes, excuse me, did you say ghosts?
Nothing of the sort was mentioned. I'm afraid she hit her head on the way out of bed this morning, and she's a little delusional.
Roll me a deception. Alright. They will actually have a roll.
Actually, Megara will turn this around with
Oh.
her own. She'll say that she's like, oh well, you know, there of course was like okay, let me rephrase this. She says, yes, of course, by go she does the finger quotes.
Yeah.
It's just the kind of stuff that you'd expect that would move into an abandoned place. You know, bugs and that, but it's all clean now.
So she basically just goes on to say, so, basically there are no ghosts here.
No.
She gives a deep breath and sighs out. And she says, oh, that's a shame. We really love ghosts, don't we? And Amphos like, I love ghosts! They're so cool! And of course, they get to be alive when they should otherwise die. Oh, that would have been cool if you had a ghost. Oh.
I'm sorry to disappoint you. We did have one, however, it has been exercised.
Oh. And the Jack is like, I'm sorry, we are peculiar like that. We're big ectophusiasts.
Never mind, the plan for the ectoplasm's back on. Cancel the order with the Plumbers Guild.
I don't think it's worth it just for one family.
Wow. Okay. Your idea of a ghostly presence is an overloading odor of shit.
Instead, we can just make Nickelodeon slime.
Oh no! Oh, bugging hell. Oh crap. Alright, well,
So
so...
are we agreeing to this or not?
I am all for doing this.
Yeah, we can't do
Mhm.
the same.
Okay. Just
Um,
make sure that one of us go and get a deal with the plumber and get it installed today.
yeah.
I am the money man, I guess, so I think I should be the one to do that.
Yeah, maybe fair. You could try to sort out. Well, you don't need to deal with food. These guys did not ask you to deal with food. It's just how you want to be a event organizer slash just room renter. You know, whatever you want to do with it. Anyway,
Well,
yeah,
a
go
few
on.
things. My thoughts, we should probably get more booze.
Dorbury
We
does,
should.
Ponk does have quite a good bit of booze, but you're welcome to request more.
I mean, they said what, 2,000 gold or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Right
no,
now
I
we
want
have
that is a lot of money. I want to get them the fancy shit.
Nice.
Be nice. You
well,
know?
we have 10 barrel of ice cream and 2 bottles of firecrackers at the moment.
What was that shit that was like 500 gold a barrel?
That was the 1482 Violet, which was said to
I
be
think-
Angharad's favorite.
I think we should get a singular one of those to try.
Oh, if
There's-
you have talked to me yesterday, I might be able to procure it. I'm not sure if there will be any stock left, but you are willing to free to go to Bureau Skills and try.
Ponk, they did have one or two. That was why it was at such a high price. If it was not able to be sold, you would have got no price. But they do have some. It's just 500 gold a bottle.
Well,
Oh,
actually,
a bottle? I thought it was a barrel.
Oh no, it's a bottle. It is.
Oh, fuck no. I take back what I said.
It's a large bottle, but it's no barrel.
yep. Don't worry. In the meantime, I will go and try to mix an ice cream with my Heidi Kayora and see if we can make some sort of a nice kick to the drink for them.
All right, so Ponk, you essentially start to brew up some sort of mixtures, and Adrian will be going to the Plumbers Guild to sort out your shit depository system. Razif, what do you get up to?
Quick questions, GM.
Yeah.
I take it the brewing wouldn't take a lot of times. Assuming.
It does not take any time to throw 2 bits of ingredients together and get a result. It will take time to perfect this to make a palatable, nice drink that would be well received. But this will all be part of a check, and distilling alcohol does take some time if you choose to distill, which you may not be. You may just be trying to mix together and finding what kind
I'm making a cocktail.
Yeah, in that case, what you're doing is just testing measures of how much this to this works with one another, and you're going to see what works. Now, back to Razif.
Okay.
What do you get up to?
Breakfast?
You have none, except rations.
Eh,
It may serve you well to visit the Bakers Guild and definitely the Butchers Guild for some meat and bread and things.
Yeah, so that's actually going to be something that Megara's going to do, but I won't interrupt.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll not follow Magara to the Baker's Guild.
All right, very well. So you want to stay behind Razif?
Yeah.
Very well.
Security, I guess.
Yeah, so it's fair enough. With that, the father basically gets a bag, and he basically says, so as stated in the chat, there is a purse that has 500 in dragons, the Waterdeep term for gold, and about 1,500 silver pieces, all there for you. And yeah.
Wait, didn't he say it was 2,000 gold?
He must have miscounted, and he basically he has a judge for weight, and when you point out it's silver, he basically just goes, "Oh," and he slaps his forehead as he goes, "I'm terribly sorry. I treated things by the weight. This is what I have up front. Will this be okay?"
Looks to Adrian.
So
That essentially works
good.
out to 500 plus 750 gold, 1,250 gold.
wait, 750. What?
Well, 1,500 silver should equal 750 gold, right?
It's 10 silver to a gold,
Oh,
isn't it?
Yeah.
right then. Right then. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe of Electrum or something. Right then, yeah. So
Yes, Electrum is the 5 silver.
Electrum is the 5 silver. Then that is 1,500 Electrum.
Got it.
All right.
So yeah, that would be a total of 1,250.
Yes.
That's cool with me.
All right.
Mhm.
Excellent. The family also go on to mention that if anybody asks, we'll be the ones that are renting out the evening, and we will be handing out an invite to anybody that's welcome. We would appreciate it if you would kindly show discretion to turn away people that are not necessarily welcome and otherwise doesn't have an invite. Would you be able to provide that for us?
Razaf here would be happy to be a bouncer.
Yeah, I'd love to throw someone out.
They basically are like, well, that would be the job, though we ask you don't get physical with some of these guests. We don't have a bad name to our family name.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, good. Very good. Your presence should be more than enough to deter anybody from interfering and disrupting our evening. Anyway, if you ever want us, we're on the same street as you, so come by any time.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow at about sundown. No, sorry, they have a term. At the Long Hall, which is Waterdeep slang for when the sun is just coming down to when you basically shifted into that shadowy place, Adrian.
Got it.
And with that, they take their leave. And that seems like a good place to stop for today's session. And we'll catch you next time next week.